What do Instagram and credit card fraud have in common? Well, I'm going to answer that question for you in just a moment. But welcome. Happy Data Privacy Week. It's the week that you've probably not been waiting for or don't even know about. But it's the subject of this week's C-Suite Tech Talk, where we give C-level technology advice and strategy for people leading organizations. And we do it in plain speak. This week I'm talking about data privacy. Here's the story. There was somebody a few weeks ago, I was reading about this story. They were doing their thing and they'd posted on Instagram and taken a selfie and talked about whatever they were talking about in their office environment. And then a couple days later, they started seeing all these charges on their credit card. Nobody likes to be a subject of credit card fraud. I think so many people have had that situation where you see all these charges pile up on your credit card bill and you're like, whoa, holy cow. And then you got to call the bank and you got to deal with getting a new card and all that sort of stuff. Super painful. Turns out in this case, what happened is when they were taking the selfie, they had a credit card sitting on their desk and some enterprising hacker zoomed in on the selfie that they posted on Instagram, took the credit card number, and then used it to put a whole bunch of charges on their account. Unbelievable. So, in that vein, let's talk about the 3 things to make sure that your data stays private on Data Privacy Week. Number 1, your passwords. Super, super critical. One of my friends and I were doing some work for a volunteer thing that we do, and we were logging into a website, and I showed him on my phone the user and the password to log into the website, and it was a really complex password. And he said, "You're the only one I know that takes those suggested passwords that are really long. I just use the same password on a bunch of different websites." And I said to him, "That's such a bad idea. You need a password keeper. If you have a password keeper, and you could just use the one on iOS on your iPhone, or you can use the Edge browser or Chrome, or you can use separate other password keepers. The problem is so many of these sites get hacked on a regular basis. We saw the LCBO get hacked. We saw just this week T-Mobile lost a whole bunch of had a big breach, a big security breach, and the issue is with that is when these hackers get in, they steal a whole bunch of information and credentials, and then they use it. They know that so many people use the same user and password on all sorts of sites, so that they then take a smaller data breach and make it a much bigger, much more impactful data breach. And the way that you prevent that is by making sure you use unique passwords for every website that you're on. Number 2, multi-factor authentication. Personal and corporate. So in the personal side, please make sure that everything that you have, whether it's your banking, whether it's your investment account, whether it's your LinkedIn account, or maybe it's an iOS account, or anything that you can, turn on multi-factor authentication. 2-factor authentication. Make sure you need to get a text with a code, or there's some other way of confirming it. One of the investment services I use has this option that they say, hey, you can turn off multi-factor authentication next time you log in if you want. And I'm like, no, it shouldn't even be an option, right? We want to make sure, because if somebody finds your password, that's an extra layer of defense for you. From a corporate basis, your company, you should have both multi-factor authentication and conditional access, which means stuff like locking down the conditions of where you're allowed to log in from certain computers, certain geographic locations, other conditions that put an added layer of security in the event that your password gets stolen or breached or something like that. And the third thing that we all need to do, whether it's from the CEO level or the front lines of a business, training. The security landscape is changing every day. There's all sorts of social engineering, and there's huge value to our private data. So we all need to educate ourselves. Spend 10 minutes a month, watch a video or two, educate yourself on cybersecurity best practices and what's happening out there. And then you'll be in a much better state and you'll be able to protect your data a lot better. There's loads of resources and advice on our website. Go to Techify.CA. Hope this has been helpful for you. Have a great day.